get this. Military whistleblower says the United States has recovered dead pilots from craft of non-human origin and that the world powers are involved in an arms race to reverse engineer crashed UFOs. Now, there was that guy, what's his name, Bob Lazar or Lazar, was on the Joe Rogan's show, and he talked about, he's a big whistleblower. Or I don't know if he blew a whistle, but he certainly told everybody, a lot of people thought he was crazy. That's why his whistleblowing didn't work so well. But he had basically the same story. But he has seen this stuff. I don't think this guy has seen this stuff. That Bob Lazar guy from the Joe Rogan show, he said he saw it. So this guy also says this. So there's a video I'm going to show you in a second. Sit tight. David Charles Grusch made the claims in a series of interviews. The former intelligence officer filed a whistleblower complaint with Congress, and he says that they've recovered numerous craft and dead pilots of non-human origin. Okay? Now, this guy is a former member of the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. It's called UAP. And he has since... so there you go. So that's who this guy is. Here we go.
You are one of the most trusted former intelligence officials in the US defense and intelligence establishment.
Yes, I was.
You were trusted with the most intimate secrets.
Yeah.
Guy's frickin' 35. Isn't it something you could move up that quickly and get that kind of trust? How long was he working there? 10 years? You think you'd leave? I don't know. It seems like that'd be, I don't know. Anyway.
Grusch sitting down with award-winning investigative journalist Ross Coldheart, who's reporting for News Nation and has spent years reporting on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me. They were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grusch alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying he gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. News Nation has confirmed David Grusch's credentials and resume. We've not seen or verified the alleged proof he says he's provided to investigators. He says he can't show us the proof for national security reasons. He also tells us he's not seen photos of the alleged craft himself, but has talked extensively with other intelligence officials who have.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the U.S. government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well, naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
So that's the big story that apparently the corporate news hasn't been covering. Right. But Newsmax certainly is corporate. Or News Nation. That's not Newsmax, right? It's News Nation. That's different. They used to be called WGN, I'm pretty sure. Channel 9 in Chicago. So so that's the big news. Oh, that's super huge, unbelievable news. It implies many things. One, that we're not alone. There are aliens. They can somehow figure to travel faster than the speed of light, because that's what they would have to do to get here from another galaxy, And I'm not saying that they couldn't do it. I'm not saying, but they would be able to figure that out, but they would still not know how to land. They could travel faster than the speed of light. They could basically defy the laws of physics, because that's what they'd have to do to get here. But then they couldn't land. They didn't know how to land their spaceship. That doesn't make sense to me. But Okay, so here in a statement to dailymail.com on Tuesday, the Department of Defense spokesperson Sue Go said, to date, AARO has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist. So they're still officially denying it. Now, that guy I saw on Joe Rogan's, that Lazar guy, he talked about how they were trying to reverse engineer. Like they have this, that's the whole point of having the craft try to reverse engineer it, figure out how it works, and they can't figure it out. And that they have this thing, this energy source that creates its own gravitational field. We don't know how to do it. We don't know how it does it. Stuff like that. Grusch, who served in Afghanistan and worked for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, that's called the NGA, and National Reconnaissance Office, the NRO, has handed over details of the alleged operations to Congress and to the Intelligence Community Inspector General. He has also filed a complaint against the Department of Defense and claims he's been ostracized for his decision to blow the whistle. He also said that keeping the information secret further inhibits the world populace to be prepared for an unexpected non-human intelligence contact scenario. The claim comes days after Pentagon chief admitted that unidentified metallic orb UFOs have been spotted all over the world. So they've been admitting to this lately. Like I remember maybe the first or second time I was on Joe Rogan, he was talking about how he had just had this pilot on from the Navy who was credible and said that he saw these UFOs, and they acted in a way that no other plane could ever act. So that's why he thought it was extraterrestrial. And I said, I'm no doubt they've been, ever since they invented planes, they've been seeing that stuff. Pilots have been seeing that stuff, and they've always discounted it. So why now? Why now would the Pentagon start admitting it? Why would they admit it back then? Why would they let these guys talk so openly without doing character assassinations on them? That was my question to Joe Rogan. And because I think they've always, like this guy said, it's been 8 decades long. They've known about this stuff. Yeah, I know. So why now would they start letting these pilots go on Joe Rogan? Why? And then they confirmed it, a lot of it. And here we go again. Why now? And now there's going to be a congressional hearing. The House of Representatives to hold hearings on whistleblowers' UFO claims. So I told what my theory was at that time, 2 years ago, whenever that was, last time I was on Joe Rogan. My theory was they got to find a way to spend more money on the military because they're going to end Afghanistan war. They probably doing these wars. And now I thought it was just so they could build up a space force. Well, they did. Didn't Trump start a space force?
Right.
Trump started a space force. And I'm like, well, that's what this is all about. It's about money. That's why they would finally now admit it, because they're so corrupt that they'll even use these secrets to try to spend money, your money, on their corporations to do whatever they do to keep us safe from aliens. And then I found this video. I just found this video today. Leah McCullum tweeted this out. With all the UFO from February 11th, he tweeted a discourse. Remember when Krugman suggested? So watch this.
Boston's big dig was just fine after all.
Think about World War II, right? That was actually negative social product spending, and yet it brought us out. I mean, partly because you want to put these things together. If we say, look, we could use some inflation. Ken and I are both saying that, which is, of course, anathema to a lot of people. And
so he's talking about how to get out of a slowdown in the economy, and or what, I don't know what he's talking about, but he's talking about at this point the economy needs some inflation. That's what he just said, and he said that sounds anathema to, and I'm pretty sure that word means that sounds like horrible, right? That sounds like the opposite of what people would want. That's what he just said. And so why do you want inflation? Why? What's going on?
In Washington, but is in fact what the basic logic says. It's very hard to get inflation in a depressed economy. But if you had a program of government spending plus an expansionary policy by the Fed, you could get that. So if you think about using all of these things together, you could accomplish, a great deal. I mean, if we discovered that space aliens were planning to attack, and we needed a massive buildup to counter the space alien threat, and really inflation and budget deficits took secondary place to that. this slump would be over in 18 months. And then if we discovered, whoops, we made a mistake. There aren't actually any space aliens.
So we need Orson Welles, is what you're saying.
No, there was a Twilight Zone episode like this in which scientists fake an alien threat in order to achieve world peace. Well, this time we don't need it. We need it in order to get some fiscal stimulus.
So that reaffirms my original theory, and that came from a partisan hack who has a Pulitzer Prize for economics. Did you hear what he said? He said, and then it would get us out of this in 18 months. So I guess, so I don't even know when this is from, that video clip. But it sounded like he was talking about when you have a depressed economy that you want to get all the spending going and all this stuff. He was talking about World War II. And you got to get it going for 18 months to get us out of everything. And then he said, he got cut off, but he was about to say,
Boston's big dig was just fine after all.
Think about World War II, right? That was not actually negative social product spending, and yet it brought us out. I mean, partly because you want to put these things together. If we say, look, we could use some inflation. Ken and I are both saying that, which is, of course, anathema to a lot of people in Washington, but is in fact what the basic logic says. It's very hard to get inflation in a depressed economy.
So I guess he's talking about what do we have to do for a depressed economy, and he goes, "We need to get a little inflation." I don't understand why you would need that, but I'm not an economist, so he's recommending a little inflation in a depressed economy. And how can you achieve all that?
This is from August 2011.
Oh, okay, August 2011. So how do you achieve all that?
But if you had a program of government spending plus an expansionary policy by the Fed.
So if you had an expansionary policy by the Fed plus a lot of government spending, you could get out of this depressed economy.
You could get that. So if you think about using all of these things together, you could accomplish, a great deal. I mean, if we discovered that space aliens were planning to attack, and we needed a massive buildup to counter the space alien threat, and really inflation and budget deficits took secondary place to that. This slump would be over in 18 months.
So we just need to invent a reason to spend a lot of money, and we could get out of this slump. If you don't have to worry about deficits or budgets or anything. And what would be the good way to do it?
And then if we discovered, whoops, we made a mistake. There aren't actually any space aliens.
So we need
So he goes, and then if we discover, and then this asshole interrupts him. He's making his point to make some stupid fucking Orson Welles joke that's not funny. But what he is saying,
it's a mistake. There aren't actually any space aliens.
And then if we discovered in 18 months, we made a mistake. There aren't actually any aliens. Well, we saved the economy anyway. That's what he was about to say. That's my guess. Until Mr. fucking Hilarious stepped out what he was saying. Why is it always the unfunniest people try to make jokes?
Orson Welles is what you're saying.
Orson Welles is what you're saying. What you need is we need an Orson Welles. No, it's not what he's fucking saying.
No, there was a whoops, we made a mistake. There aren't actually any space aliens.
So we need Orson Welles is what you're saying.
No,
we'd be in better shape than if we didn't come up with this hoax of the space aliens. And then if we figured out in 18 months that there wasn't any space aliens, but we spent trillions of dollars building it up and it got us out of this. That's what he's saying. So that was my original. So do I think that there are space alien stuff? Yes. I think there is. I think that space, listen to what this guy says. He says that there isn't. Because he thinks it's a psyop, saying, yeah, it's likely a psyop, meaning because the sheer distances makes it virtually impossible for aliens to have visited Earth. If aliens traveled at the speed of light, it would take 10,000 travel years from the closest solar system, millions of travel years from others. The Earth has only emitted signals of life for 200 years. So I say to that, No, the alien. So we all know at quantum physics, you can be in two places at one time. We don't understand how any of this shit works. Quantum physics doesn't seem to go by the rules of physics, right? And so that's why it's all crazy. And so they have figured that out. They figured out how to be in two places at one time. They figured out how to travel without traveling in the sense that we think of your body moving through time and space. I think they figured out how, in Star Trek where they would dematerialize and then materialize someplace else. I think they figured out how to do that. Then why would they still need a ship? I don't know. Maybe those ships, I don't know. Maybe then when they get into our solar system, they can then bop around in those ships, right? They can zoom over to Mars and zoom over to Alpha Centauri. I don't know what that is even. I just know that's a word. So that's what I think. And it is interesting. Tucker Carlson pointed this out in his thing yesterday, his Twitter show, that nobody's talking about this. That they're talking about Trump, they're talking about Ukraine, they're talking about trans bathrooms. They're talking about the same shit over and over, but they're not talking about this. I think they should be talking about this. I think it's a big deal. But I think the reason why it's being leaked out by credible actors, it's seemingly all the time now, and that they're even validating it. They validated this before. Is because there's a big psyop coming, even bigger than you can imagine, and it's maybe it's like Paul Krugman said. Hey, there's space aliens coming. We got to spend $1 trillion on this new. It's going to build a new thing to protect us from the thing. We're going to build our own Iron Dome across the whole United States. It's only going to cost $1 trillion. We're still going to wait to fix homelessness. And you still don't get health care. That's my guess. And I think that those aliens, those space aliens, if what Bob Lazar, that guy from the Joe Rogan, said is true, they can crush us anytime they want because they have figured out how to create their own gravity fields. And that would be an unbelievable, you would conquer the entire earth if you figured out how to do that militarily, create your own gravity field. They would, and then things would go around you. You'd be impenetrable. It would be the unbelievable military accomplishment.
Well, that's what I was thinking immediately when Krugman was talking about they would come, we would have to prepare for an alien attack. And I was like, how come they're not coming in peace? And besides, their technology would be way more advanced. They would wipe us out, it would seem.
If they could get here, by definition, they are way more advanced. And it would be, it would be like us firing bow and arrows at King Kong. It's not going to do anything. These people, they understand energy, how it works better than we do. They understand quantum physics better than we do. That's it. We're still perplexed by how things, the double, what is it called? The double slit thing where we've talked about this. Anyway, I don't want to talk about physics too much since reveal just how dumb I am, but I do know that when they shoot electrons through two slits, they're supposed to go straight. And they do if you look at them. But if you don't look at them, they act all different. So you putting your consciousness on them changes its behavior from a particle to a wave. So that's why they don't understand why that is. And they don't understand about how you can be two places. But that's all been shown through quantum physics. So that's my big idea. I think there are aliens that live in other galaxies. And they've figured out quantum physics on a level that we haven't. And they can now travel through time and space without actually traveling their physical body. They can make it reappear the same way two molecules can be in the same place, or electrons. That's my guess. I bet I'm right.
I bet you are.
I bet I'm right. Hey, so here we go. Here's another UFO story that came out. Watch this. So this is real. This is from, what's the date on this? This is from 2023. It looks like it's from, is that from May 1st, 2023. So let's watch this.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro Police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and
only took him an hour. It took him an hour in Las Vegas to get to the people's house who called 911.
Jeez.
An hour. When you think about all the garbage that cops do all day, all this time they're harassing people, and then when you actually do need them and you call them, it takes them an hour to get there. That was my experience in Pasadena. I called, they said I got a crazy person with a gun outside my house. Took an hour. Anyway, that's not what the point of the story is, but I just wanted to let you know.
Family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or
they see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear? They're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
That investigation turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey. If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So yeah, this.
Okay. So here's my big problem. Again, why are they allowing this to happen? Why are they allowing it to be reported on regular commercial news? But isn't it just damn the luck? You got a couple of 10-foot tall aliens crash in your backyard and no one thinks to pick up their phone and film it. Isn't that weird? And then where'd they go? They crashed. Where'd they go? And then the cop goes back there. The cop can't put, because it's private property. What? That's not how that works. They release body cam footage all the time because it's private property.
Right.
I'm sure that guy, that's a guard. What? And so why didn't they haven't taken, where did it crashed? So did it leave a mark in your backyard? It crashed. Again, these things can get here, but they just don't know how to fly their machines well enough to land. I don't find that credible. Yeah, so let's see what else do they have to say.
It's quite weird, Brian was saying as we're watching this story. Now, we've been in contact with the family in that video, and as you heard in that 911 call, they seem very reasonable and honestly quite scared as you heard them in the call. No, they don't seem impaired in any way. And whatever crashed by the time that police got there was gone, but sources say that there's really no dispute. Something was in their yard. Exactly what?
So something crashes. They see these 10-foot tall guys crashed with huge eyes. Nobody takes a picture with their phone. But they do call 911. So you're calling 911 with your phone, but you don't take a picture of it with your phone? And they leave. You don't have a video of them leaving. You don't have, they crash. You don't immediately put your cameras on them. What are they doing? But you do call 911 that has a camera on it. And then they leave. Apparently they just left. They left? What do you mean they left? Did they get in their spaceship and take off? And did they witness this? What do you mean they left? Did the people stop watching the 10-foot tall guys with big eyes and they don't know what they did? And they just looked and they turned around and they were gone again? Like, this sounds super suspicious. Not what it looks like. Put it that way. right?
Yes, totally suspicious.
None of this does it make sense to you, Misha? I want it to make sense, but why no pictures of the 10-foot tall guy in your backyard? Hey, everybody, only $10 to go see my new stand-up special, COVID Lies Are Funny, at jimmydore.com. And come see us do a live show. We're going to be in Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, Bakersfield, California, Baltimore, San Francisco, Huntington Beach, Rosemont, and Chicago, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, and more. We're going to be in New York, Stamford, Connecticut, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, San Diego, everywhere. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all our tickets.